Thank you for joining us on this special episode of The Advance. I'm Brandon Walton, senior editor here at Texas Scorecard, and we're doing things a little differently today. We've got an interview sitting right next to me with Republican Party of Texas Chairman Abraham George. We're going to talk about what the party's doing this year, looking forward towards the convention, the November elections, and of course, the next legislative session. Abraham, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So you have been the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas now for almost 2 years, right? About a year and a half. Has that experience been different than you thought it would be? What's it been like?
It's definitely been different than what I thought it would be. My goal coming in was, we got to pass legislative priorities, and that was hard in the past. And this cycle, we were able to actually pass about 43 legislative priority bills, which is not something that we've seen in the recent years. Coming in, I was a very open critique of our current speaker. And wanted to support the nominee that was from the Republican caucus. So there was so much going on, but over time that we were able to get good things done. And it's nowhere near perfect, but I was expecting a lot more problems, and I started to see some good things happen.
There certainly was. You sort of touched on it. I think some distance, maybe we'll say, between the governor, for example, in the party. That seems to have changed and shifted over the last year or so.
It has. So I think we started out by saying we're not against the governor. We just want these things done, right? Then we moved to a place where governor's team and our party can work together in some of the things. Like we wanted to stop China, Russia, all of these hostile nations from buying up our land. They were on board with it. Parties, that was one of the top priorities. Stop sexualizing our kids, closing the border. All of these things that came up that it ended up being, we were on the same page. And there was a lot of negotiations and some yelling and screaming behind the scenes to get the right bills through the legislative session. But we were able to do it. During that time, it was hard and frustrating. But looking back today, I'm like, that was a good bill. So
there were a lot of legislative priorities that were touched on, like you mentioned. If you had to rate the legislative session, what do you give it?
I wouldn't call it the conservative session. A lot of people are doing that. I would say it was a better session than when Dade Phelan was there. It was a better session than probably last few years, multiple sessions combined. Last session, we had 6 bills done with Dade Phelan as a speaker. This session, we had 43. So it's a huge jump. And I had to give the credit to major 2 groups. One is a bunch of brand new Alamo Republicans got elected to Texas House, and they changed the narrative and the leverage we had in the House. And on top of it, grassroots showed up. I mean, they showed up every single day, and that was awesome. When the pressure was from inside the House on the floor, from these Alamo Republicans, and also from the people who are showing up from all over state of Texas to the gallery and talking to these legislators, that kind of moved the ball the right direction for a while. And you guys helped a lot. I mean, your podcast and emails going out, that was amazing. So
when we talk about the legislative session, I think one of the biggest moments, the biggest highlights that people might remember was the redistricting effort, right?
Yeah.
That seemed to have an effect of unifying, I would say, Republicans, especially when Democrats, left for Chicago and California and wherever else.
I am, yes, absolutely. Every Republican, regardless of if you call them a rhino or a moderate or far right or Alamo Republican, everyone was on the same page for that one thing. And there was no confusion. We want these done. And, starting from Galveston County all the way to, president's narrative to mandate to make that happen, and governor getting on board and the legislators, it was amazing. It was that probably unified the Republican Party more than anything else in the past 10 years, I guess, or so.
Yes, and that big, beautiful map, right, passed, and it's made its way through the courts. Some have said that maybe the legislature should take a look at redrawing the Texas legislative districts for the state house, right, and the state Senate. What do you think about those proposals?
That should happen. That definitely should happen. We have an opportunity to do that. I've had some conversations with Todd Hunter, who led the charge on redistricting the congressional maps, and there's a couple of lawsuits that they're waiting to see how that's going to play out, and it's definitely on the table. We should do that. We should definitely do that.
Shifting gears a little bit. While the party has certainly been active in the state capitol, in the legislative process, the party's also now been active in the courts, suing to close the primaries in Texas. What can you tell us about why that lawsuit was brought and where we stand right now?
Well, one of the mandates that I got from the convention is we have to close our primaries. We've been talking about it for a long time. Matt Rinaldi, our former chairman, set it up pretty well. And at the time of the convention, the grassroots, the 10,000 some people who showed up said, we want to close the primaries. And regardless of how it is, they changed the rules. And if the legislator wouldn't do it, they wanted me to go file a lawsuit against the state, which is what we did. We had to do, because during the session, we did talk about a legislative option for this. And there was about 4 bills that filed, and none of them really got the hearing, and it didn't go anywhere. Killed by Republicans, unfortunately. But, right now, our goal is to get it from a court. We filed the lawsuit last year, and we were hoping to get this done before 26th primary. Now we're at the end of January. I don't think it's going to happen. I really wish we had a faster process in the
courts are not always the fastest.
but I understand it. But this is a long-term issue. It's been an issue for the party for multiple decades, and I think in 28 for sure we'll have that. There's enough time between now and the 28th March primaries, so we'll get that. We've spent a couple of $100,000 already on this lawsuit. Attorney General Ken Paxton joined us in the lawsuit. So we sued the state and the SOS. Jane Nelson, Secretary of State, is pushing back and have hired a fairly large law firm to fight the party. And it's unfortunate that we have to deal with this at this point. But it would have been much easier if she actually joined and said, yeah, the party have the right to close their primaries, and we're okay with that. That would have been much easier. We could have had closed primaries in 26, but we're going to get it anyway.
Looking towards the next convention, it's, you look at the calendar, it's just a few months away, right? It's this summer. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work that the party has to put into this. What are you expecting for this upcoming convention?
Well, one major thing that has happened is Governor Abbott has come in as the top sponsor, and he's funding the party apparatus through the convention, not only the state party, but the county parties. So if you bring in the county parties, if they bring in all of their delegation strength, they get about $50 per delegate to the county party after, which they can use for 26 victory or whatever they want to. So it changed a lot. Governor was a sponsor last time and previous ones as well, but he wasn't the sponsor. So he is brought in. The whole convention process is going to. From his side, it's going to be about $2 million worth of funding. About $1 million plus goes to the county parties. Then there's transportation help. So, Houston, nobody likes to come to Houston. Nobody likes to park in Houston. So we're bringing in buses from all over state. So there's a huge amount of program that put together. We have 2 new staffers just dedicated just for this, for the convention that started last week and one starting next week. So we're putting the apparatus together to have an amazing convention. We're expecting about 15,000 people.
I have to ask, are you concerned? There's been reports that, Houston might be very busy. There's other events happening. Is lodging going to be a problem, or should delegates feel comfortable?
No, we have booked plenty of rooms. I think we're not going to fill that many rooms because people usually, the people who want to be in hotels, they're going to book ahead of time, right? But a lot of people like Airbnbs and they like to stay with their friends and family. So we have lodging available for about 12,000 people. And I don't think we're going to use
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of lodging. And it's a block that we have secured. The RPT's website will be updated in about a couple of weeks to have all of those information out there. It's the same price as last time, so the price hasn't gone up. I know there's a lot of concerns like $1,000 for a hotel. That's not true. We have those secured already.
Part of the business of the convention is nominating party leaders. You were elected chairman at the convention 2 years ago. Big question, are you going to be running for re-election this time?
I am, and I haven't really made that announcement anywhere else. I mean, people have been asking, but I am running. And I think I have 2 major goals on that. One is to finish this closed primaries lawsuit. The other is property tax. Property tax is killing Texans, and it's time that we stop talking about small patches and fixes and actually do something major. If we don't do that, we're going to have a problem in 28. So I have multiple priorities that I wanted to push through the session. So yeah, I'm going to be running. I'm going to be announcing.
When we talk about those priorities are also determined at the convention.
Right.
What do you expect are going to be some of the big issues? Because, this is again, we're talking about the convention, but a lot of the convention is looking towards the next legislative session. So we're looking towards 2027. You mentioned property taxes. What else are on people's minds that you're talking about?
So last time we looked at major things like border security was one, right? That was top priority. Allowing the Attorney General to prosecute election fraud was another one. So there's multiple priorities, which actually we were able to secure and do it. This cycle, the propositions at on the March primary ballot, I think it's focused on about 4 things. One is property taxes major, local entities creating problems to a point that people cannot afford to have houses anymore. That, it's all related to property tax. The other 2 major issues that I think is we have secured our border, but the immigration is a disaster. H-1B scams and misuse in Texas is crazy. And, a couple of days ago or yesterday, Governor Abbott actually talked about going after this problem in Sarah Gonzalez, and I think you guys already talked about it as well. That's going to be a major thing for me, for the party at this time. And I think the other one will be to figure out how do we handle this Islamification of our state. How do we handle that without stepping on the religious freedoms of regular people? Because if you put some hold on religious freedom for one group, you also need to understand that's going to apply to everybody else. So without stepping on the First Amendment right, how do we stop this problem? So those kind of things will be major for party. I personally think those will be the top items, and those will be those are the top items for me. So I think the overall party's pulse is there. I don't know if that's going to be the major top priorities at the convention, but I think that would be something we need to tackle for sure.
We've got our primaries happening on the Republican side that you're, of course, very familiar with. Democrats are having their own fights right now. You've got Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. Looking at November in the general election, what are your expectations for what the party will be doing heading into that, and what the results of that will be?
Well, there's two areas in Texas that party needs to focus, and we'll be doing that. One is South Texas. We flipped. There's 14 counties on the southern border. We flipped 12 out of the 14 counties. Nobody thought that was possible. But the right messaging, right candidates made that happen. President Trump on ballot made all the difference in the 24 cycle. That's one area. We have to hold that 12 counties and possibly flip one more. There's about 7 Texas House races that we're focused on. We're planning on putting a lot of resources behind. The other is Harris County. Governor Abbott have openly talked about this. He's going to put millions of dollars into it. We have some good donors that are planning on coming in as well. Harris County have a real opportunity at this point to flip to Republican, at least on some of the races. The county judge races is a very hot item, along with a few others, right? So those are two major things that we're looking at. Yes, once the primaries are over on the Senate race and, all the other races, I think we're okay on all of those. Our candidates, regardless of who it is, will be well-funded. They'll have the resources to do it. The grassroots will get behind them. That's a major thing that needs to happen at the convention to kind of come together after the primary election, which is hard, but we can do it. But once that's done, I think we need to focus on flipping Democrat seats, and that's Harris County and South Texas.
Interesting. And last question here. If people want to get involved there, want to help the Republican Party, where can they do that?
Well, the main thing I'd like them to think about today is to show up to the convention, because they can shape the policy and the platform and the priorities of the party, elect the right people, for the state chair, for the vice chair, the SRC, all of that. Then on top of it, get involved with a candidate today. Even if that person didn't win the primary election, that gives you enough time to heal and move into the general, where we actually have to go against either Talarico or Jasmine Crockett, people like that. So they can do that through texasgop.org. Connect with us, and there's, we have volunteers, interns calling back people and saying, hey, which county are you in, and how do we connect you with the right county party and all the, or any of the organizations. So there's plenty of opportunities. We need people. We really do need people to show up and do the work. So it's been great, but it's going to be a lot harder in the 26th cycle.
Abraham George, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for joining us on this episode of The Advance. You can follow more of our coverage at texasscorecard.com.